Electric cars have emerged as a transformative force in the automotive industry, ushering in a new era of sustainable transportation. The demand for electric vehicles is expected to keep increasing in the future. As we know, the lithium battery plays a central role in the success and widespread adoption of EVs. But recently, Ford CEO Jim Farley said that battery supply chains could hinder EV development. So, how exactly is it hindering the process? Welcome to Evolutionary. Today we're going to dive deeper into how crucial batteries are for the EV industry and what challenges they currently face. We can spot electric cars everywhere now. Even companies like Ford are investing hundreds of billions of dollars in electric vehicles. Imagine that huge amount of money. However, as the sector moves towards zero carbon emissions, battery supply chains could hinder those goals. But the question is how? Let's first hear what Ford CEO Jim Farley said about this matter in an interview with Yahoo Finance Live. First of all, batteries are the constraint here. It won't be the manufacturing site behind me. The lithium-ion batteries that we use, both lithium and nickel, are really the key constraining commodities. We normally get those from all over the world, from South America to Africa to Indonesia and Southeast Asia. We want to localize that here in North America, not just the mining but the processing of the materials. Farley pointed out that even raw metals mined in the United States are frequently transported back to China for processing, which the U.S. is actively trying to change through grants and additional expenditures. The big change is going to be bringing all that processing and mining capability back to the United States. It will be a huge job, just like it has been for semiconductors. According to the International Energy Agency, electric vehicles accounted for around 10% of all vehicle sales globally by 2021. Bloomberg NEF predicts that by 2030, half of all automobile sales in the United States will be EVs, fueled by Inflation Reduction Act tax incentives. As demand for electric vehicles and trucks grows, there will need to be an estimated 300 million electric cars on the road by 2030 to meet benchmark net zero targets. Consequently, demand for the valuable minerals used in batteries will also rise. As a result, global supply chains that harvest and process these minerals may be put to the test. The United States has identified 5 minerals critical to the EV transition and whose supply chains are currently at risk: lithium, cobalt, manganese, nickel, and graphite. Already, lawmakers and the mining industry have expressed concerns about minerals in insufficient supply. There's going to be a real crunch to get the material, Piedmont Lithium CEO Keith Phillips said about lithium mining. Lithium is a crucial component in lithium-ion batteries, the most common type used in the EV sector and the type used by Ford. The average electric car battery consumes between 8 to 10 kilograms of lithium. We don't have enough resources in the world to turn that much production by 2035. Demand for lithium-ion batteries is expected to skyrocket by more than 500% between 2020 and 2030. While the United States has made some strides in battery manufacturing, China is way ahead, leading the industry with over 70% of global electric vehicle battery production capacity. China is not only the largest producer of graphite, which is a crucial component in lithium-ion batteries, but its real strength lies in its exceptional refining capability. So once raw materials are mined, they're sent off for purification before reaching manufacturers who assemble the batteries for consumer vehicles. In some instances, these raw materials can travel as much as 50,000 miles before they finally arrive at a battery manufacturing plant. But, with geopolitics, extreme weather, and rising commodity prices posing threats to these supply chains, several American automakers are, really pushing to build and secure their own networks. As we mentioned earlier, China is at the forefront of the battery industry, producing a whopping 70% of the world's electric vehicles. Chinese automakers are experiencing quite a boom, driven by the growth of the country's middle class, with BYD standing out as the top-selling EV brand. On the flip side, Ford's sales in China have been declining since 2016. Earlier this year, Farley mentioned that Ford would need to rethink what its brand represents in the Chinese market. During a conference, Farley was, pretty clear about China's dominance. Jim Farley: "As far as China is concerned, it's going to be really humbling. The Chinese are going to be a powerhouse. Even with a distinct brand, beating Chinese automakers on cost is difficult, especially when their scale is 5 times larger. BYD's scale is now much larger than Tesla's. BYD created a critical technology, a better battery you can find." Ford's goal of producing 2 million EVs annually by 2026, will require a substantial amount of battery-critical materials. The company recently struck 4 key supply agreements, including a long-term deal with Nemaska Lithium for about 13,000 tons of lithium hydroxide over an 11-year period. This agreement is expected to provide Ford customers with tax benefits under the U.S. Inflation Reduction Act. There will be winners and losers in the supply chain. Lithium is critical. You have to have the best product strategy, but if you don't control the supply chain, you won't win. It's a very complicated supply chain. It will be difficult to declare hand on heart that we're good, but I believe we have as excellent a procedure as anyone in the industry. Still, it will require physical oversight. Farley added that Ford was one of the first firms to develop a sustainability policy, and as a family-owned company, having a strong ESG strategy and ensuring best practices was the right thing to do. Ford's strategy involves a dual-path approach to battery sourcing. While it is partnering with CATL to utilize their LFP technology and expertise, it is also building its own domestic battery production capacity through Blue Oval SK, its joint venture with SK On. This move is aimed at securing a reliable supply of batteries while also navigating the complex sourcing requirements for federal tax incentives under the Inflation Reduction Act. The global competition for battery materials and manufacturing supremacy is intensifying. The United States and Europe are investing heavily to build their own local supply chains and reduce their reliance on a single region. However, building a complete supply chain from mining to processing to cell manufacturing takes significant time and investment. China's head start, measured in years and massive government support, presents a formidable challenge. So, the question of solid-state batteries, well, it really remains a key one for the industry's future. Touted as the next major evolution, solid-state batteries promise greater energy density, faster charging times, and improved safety over current lithium-ion technology. Nearly every major automaker, including Ford, is investing in solid-state research. However, experts caution that widespread commercial viability and mass production are still likely several years away. For now, the immediate future of electrification hinges on perfecting and securing the supply chain for existing lithium-ion technology. The race is not just about who can design the best car, but who can most effectively and ethically secure the minerals and manufacturing might required to build them at scale. The automakers and nations that can establish resilient, efficient, and localized supply chains will be the ones to lead the next chapter of the automotive industry. With the rapid development of electric vehicles, the need for batteries will inevitably increase. But did you know there are other battery alternatives, such as solid-state batteries? Is it better? Does it have potential for the EV world? The new battery plant, which will cost $3.5 billion, is set to open in Michigan in 2026. It will manufacture lithium iron phosphate or LFP batteries, which are less expensive than nickel-cobalt alternatives. In March, Republican Senator Marco Rubio sponsored legislation to prohibit tax subsidies for EV batteries built with Chinese technology. He also called on the Biden administration to review Ford's partnership with CATL. Ford plans to produce 600,000 electric vehicles per year by late 2023 and more than 2 million by the end of 2026. The company has announced that CATL will provide entire LFP battery packs for the Mustang Mach-E models in North America beginning later this year and for F-150 Lightnings beginning in early 2024.